Welcome back for another video. The Who to Buy series is back for this season. If you're not familiar, every week this season we look at the top projected points each game week broken down by position. This will guide the players you pick, the transfers you make and captaincy decisions. The projections are courtesy of good friend of the channel fplreview.com. They have a free and a premium model and we use the premium data in all these videos. They don't sponsor the channel at all, they're just the best in class for projections. So let's jump in and kicking off with the goalkeeper projections first. Usually we sort the projections by top for the current game week only, but for game week 1 we projected the opening 5 game weeks ahead to help with your squad building. So it's Ederson that's actually top over the opening 5. I've got 2 stats to present here. Last season Man City's 33 expected goals conceded was best in the league, however Ederson's -5.7 XG prevented was among the worst in the league. Ward, Melia and Bazunu were among the few who fared worst and all 3 of those were relegated. However, Ederson is still worth consideration despite the frustrations. There's every chance it was just a dip in form and he improves on that. Interestingly, Kepa is second over the opening 5. It's just that game week 1 fixture against Liverpool that's putting many off, where the clean sheet potential will be low. Chelsea are being linked with Brighton's goalkeeper Sanchez, so the expectation is that he'll be back up if he does sign, though that could change if Kepa does hit a bad run of form. What's also interesting that he's projected to do slightly better than the more popular Onana pick, also for 5 mil. If you're looking at a super cheap goalkeeper, then Pickford's the top 4.5 with 17.5 points projected over the opening 5. If we compare to some of the other 4.5s who just missed out on the table here, Leno and Johnston are on 17, Still and Flecken on 16.2, so not a significant difference between them all. For the defenders and midfielders, we're going to look at 2 pages of players to help with your game week 1 building. So defenders next then, and it is Trent who's top, projected 21.3 over the opening 5. While I do think he'll have a great season, he's not currently in my game week 1 team. They've lost Fabinho and Henderson and they're yet to sign a replacement defensive mid, arguably 2 are needed. I watched their last match against Bayern Munich, which was pretty much full strength, and took a couple of screenshots. There were huge spaces down Trent's side because of the role he plays where he pushes up. Gnabry was finding loads of room to attack and they scored twice from Trent's side. You're not buying Trent for clean sheets alone of course, but at 8 mil it's something you'll want more reliably. Perhaps Klopp changes how they line up tactically initially until they can address this. However, with Chilwell attacking that side in game week 1, don't be afraid to start him. Chilwell is second over the opening 5, 1 goal 1 assist in pre-season and he's been popping up in dangerous areas. Chilwell over James looks the way to go at the moment given pre-season form, and James does have a worse injury record. And Nkunku is currently yellow flagged with an injury in FPL, which we'll talk about more in a bit. If he does miss the start of the season, James could actually be on penalties for Chelsea. If you caught the template team video, Stones was in the team, but it's Ruben Diaz actually projected to score higher over the opening 5 here, something to consider. On the one hand, Stones is playing more advanced when City are in possession, playing a midfield role, but on the other hand, Diaz has a good record of consistent starts, while Stones hasn't actually started more than 7 games in a row in the last 5 years, and those 7 came back in the 2021 season. Another interesting observation here, Shaw is projected 17.1 points while Onana's projected 18.3, so the Man United keeper both cheaper and expected to fare better over the opening 5, but not significantly. Potentially 0.5 mil you can free up there for an upgrade elsewhere in your team. Although Robertson comes in 1.5 mil less than Trent, his role is very restricted in the current setup at times. Trent given the licence to move into midfield and possession, while we often see Robertson staying back and left centre back. Looking at game week 1 projections in isolation, Estepinian with 4.9, joint top in the league among defenders in game week 1 with Trippier. Brighton with 3 really strong opening fixtures before they turn with Newcastle and Man United game week 4 and 5, so if you don't get Chilwell game week 1, there's a good window to sell him a few weeks into the season. Gabriel top among the Arsenal defenders over the opening 5, followed by Saliba and then White. Zinchenko hasn't played a single minute in pre-season, so if he's in your team, avoid him. Gabriel and Saliba are my favourites. The former had a higher XG over the last season, but Saliba's perfectly fine as well if you want a differential. Nottingham Forest are goalless in their last 3 pre-season friendlies and they travel to the Emirates in game week 1. It's clear that this season the midfielders are where the value's at, so let's have a good look at the best ones. This might surprise you, but over the opening 5 game weeks, Saka's top among all mids for projected points with 30.2, Salah on 27.7. Nottingham Forest's last pre-season match was played at home and they suffered a 5-0 loss to Rennes. Food for thought if you only have one Arsenal midfielder. Jesus, who we'll discuss more in a minute, out of the picture now after Arteta confirmed he's out for a few weeks with an injury. Odegaard's hovering at about 20% ownership, and among midfielders, only Salah scored more points than his 212 last season. He and Martinelli, two great picks to pair with Saka. De Bruyne's been an unused substitute in all of Man City's pre-season games as he recovers from an injury last season. All eyes will be on the Community Shield when Arsenal play Man City on Sunday. Both lineups should tell us a lot. In Arsenal's case, many wondering whether Trossard or Nketiah play up top while Jesus is out. If you're looking for a big differential, then Son at 9 mil is projected 24.3 points, which isn't significantly behind Rashford and Bruno, two similarly priced players, though Man United do have a better Game Week 1 fixture, so personally Son's a wait and see. So Mbeumo tops the projections among the 6.5 midfielder bracket, with 24.1 over the opening 5. However, Mitoma, Eze, March, probably even Diaby are good picks. The projections actually have March ahead of Mitoma, 19.8 versus 18.5 over the opening 5. That's an interesting one. March only 2.9% owned. Last season 6 goals and 10 assists in the league. He's another template breaker if you're looking for one. One concern that I do have is his lack of pre-season minutes. Not involved in their last 2 games, so make sure you subscribe for the pre-season form players final update video next week where we'll look at all the teams and the final takeaways. The picture could change completely if he starts that one and he does well. Eze is somewhat overlooked. Sheffield United a great opening fixture, he's on penalties, Palace's talisman, and he's absolutely flying in pre-season with 2 goals and 4 assists, 13% owned. He's actually ahead of both March and Mitoma over the opening 5. However, as we said, Brighton's Game Week 4 and 5 fixtures are tough, so there is potential to maximise points by starting with Brighton assets and then sell after 3 game weeks. Let's look at the forwards next, and this is interesting. Haaland's projected 6.2 points in Game Week 1, and to recap, Saka projected 6.9. So if you're an upside chaser or you love a gamble, then clearly Saka is the Game Week 1 differential captain. Given Haaland's record ownership of 86.5%, you'll need to accept that you're taking on a big risk if Haaland delivers and Saka doesn't. Annoyingly, Nkunku was withdrawn after 20 minutes against Dortmund yesterday with an injury. He was looking like the answer to Jesus' injury, and now they're dropping like flies up top. Pochettino said, "The doctors are checking him, and I hope it's not a big issue. He fell in the action, which was maybe a penalty, and he feels something in his knee, but we hope it's nothing big. We hope he can be back quickly with the team. We need a few days to assess him." Chelsea's pre-season is over now. That was their last game, so it'll be dependent on what transpires over the next week or so, and hopefully some good training photos of him playing again. The hope is that it was just a contact injury. Watkins is second only to Haaland over the opening 5 among the strikers with 22.6 points projected. Could he be the solution to Jesus' injury rather than Nkunku? He's expected to be on penalties, and after Emery took charge of Villa last season, he went on a run of 12 goals and 4 assists in the closing 18 games. He's one player who will also benefit from the Premier League's new rule to add World Cup style added time to reflect actual stoppage more closely. We'll see some games go past 100 minutes a lot of times this season, and Watkins is one player who's rarely subbed, so it's basically extra time for him to get on the score sheet. And obviously it could mean defenders suffer as a consequence of this new rule. If we get early news ahead of Game Week 1 that Alvarez starts, he really deserves consideration for 6.5 mil. Last season, only Haaland and Kane had more points per start than Alvarez's 6.2, and in the later stages of last season, he scored 8 times in 13 starts. What we do know is Gundogan and Mahrez have left, which are 2 roles that he could slot into. Darwin's been having an excellent pre-season for Liverpool, and another one to consider. The risk is his minutes. He didn't start against Bayern, which perhaps was Klopp's first choice team, but perhaps that's just his choice against stronger teams. Darwin offers less defensive work than Jota and Gakpo. For example, against Bayern, we saw Gakpo getting booked for tracking a run all the way back to the halfway line and fouled him. Kane isn't on the projections here because his expected minutes are very up in the air amidst a potential move away, but as a thought experiment, if we tweak his expected minutes to 90 per game, he's projected 27.5 points over the opening 5, which would put him second to Haaland here. Visser's projected 15.5, so he narrowly misses out, but that's with average minutes of 64 per game on the algorithm, which could be harsh. It may depend on whether Shader gets a game up top ahead of him or not at some point. If we tweak his minutes to 75 per game on average, he's projected 17.5, which is noteworthy. This will be a weekly series every game week throughout the season on this channel to guide your transfers and captaincy, so make sure you subscribe in. See you soon for the next one.